Boom boom, 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 boom boom.
Santa baby.
And welcome everybody to Inside the Cardinal Playbook as we welcome Larry Holly and Jill Kress in to visit with us about the games against Baker on Friday night. Welcome, Coach Holly. Let's talk about the Cardinals and the Wildcats. It's been a while since you played Baker. Sean Dooley, your former assistant, is now the head coach there. And I don't know, did you teach him a little bit of a lesson? Maybe not intentionally, but just the way it worked out?
Well, I was pretty upset because they were, beating us early and hanging with us, and as I knew they would. Teasing, obviously. Coach Dooley's a great young coach. He's a great coach, and had great success as the top assistant at Columbia College, and taking over a program that had been in the national tournament last year, and a lot of what he is doing is what Coach Ballard had done, who left to go with Danny Manning to Tulsa, and but Baker got an outstanding young coach in Sean, and he has them ready to play, and gave us all we wanted. We finally got away from him, made some shots in the second half, but I think they'll cause some distress to some people in the heart of America.
They certainly seem to have some talent, and as you said, they played very hard, kept it close in the first half, but boy, in the second half, I think you held them without a field goal for the first 10 minutes or so, and with just a couple of points. What was the difference between the first and the second halves?
Well, I'd like to say it was the inspirational halftime speech that I gave. Had a lot of people say something. I'm not sure that's what it was. We did try to stress that we needed. It all started with defense, and we were kind of on our heels early. That's a tough time to play. It was Friday night into finals. Now it's the same for Baker, but we had some guys that just weren't very sharp early. And it affected us every bit as much. And even though we held them to 24 points in the first half, they got a lot of easy looks, and the shots didn't go in. But we had a little more spirit, a little more energy at the start of the second half, and I think that helped us at the offensive end as well. Obviously, we had some people shoot well. We made, I think we were 10 for 17 in the second half from three. In the first half, we were 2 out of 8. That may be too many threes for us to attempt. We probably need to go inside more, but we had some guys that hit some big shots, and we kind of got away from them a little bit, developed a lead, so all of our guys got to play.
One of the guys that seemed like stepped up and gave you a little bit of momentum was Andrew Schofield, another one of the JUCO transfers from Motlow State. Was it his best game of the year?
I think so. We talked about this earlier, but his best game prior to Friday night against Baker was at Pitt State, and he got hurt late in that game, had a concussion, and who knows, if he doesn't get hurt, maybe we win that game. But that was his best game. He hit I think 3 threes in the second half. But he's a high energy guy, a physical guy, blue collar worker, and certainly capable of being a key player for us second semester.
We saw the shooting, but what else does he bring to the team?
Well, he's very physical. He won't back off anybody. He's going to stick his nose in there. He's played against great competition in practice and in games the last 2 years at Motlow State. So he has no fear of that. It's just a matter of becoming more comfortable with our system, both offensively and defensively, and he's getting there along with the other guys, and that's why we always say we're seeing some improvement every game.
Devontae Bell broke his hand in practice a day or so before the Baker game. You don't have him now for maybe 4 weeks. And I think that maybe showed a little bit when Dwight Sistrunk got into some foul trouble in the first half.
This is the first time that Dwight had gotten 2 fouls in the first half, and the dreaded Larry Holly 2-foul rule. I just don't want to risk having a third foul, whether they make a mistake or, they get bumped into somebody or the official, makes a call that I'm not particularly pleased with. Sure. Whatever it is, I just don't want them going in with 3. And there's always exceptions to that. But it's the first time we've had to play without him for an extended period of time. And it was an adjustment. Devontae Bell, as you mentioned, broke his hand in practice, going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Had gotten all the reps as a backup point guard. Our third point guard is Ricky Tisdale, who's our starter at the 2. And Ricky had a great 2 years as a point guard at Motlow State, so he's played it, but he hadn't gotten very many reps with us. So, I'm not saying he's struggled a lot, but he hadn't done that a lot. A little unfair to him, and so we're going to have to be giving him a lot of reps at the 1 as well as being in the starting lineup at the 2. And we had 3 point guards, and it really puts us in a problem in practice because if we got Ricky at the 2, we don't have a point guard to play. So our emergency quarterback, as you would say in the NFL, is probably Andrew Schofield, and he's strictly a 2-3. So if both Dwight and Ricky are out of the game, it could get really exciting on the floor with Andrew out there, and he'll do a good job, but we're going to have to get him some reps there as well.
Who else did you think played well against Baker?
Well, I think we had a great run by everybody. I think we had 2 players that had, we had about 4 players in double figures, as I recall, with the leading scorer only having 14. When you score 86, that provides pretty good balance for you. I really thought most everybody did. As I said, most of them struggled in the first half. Dylan Deck, our starter at the 5, and John Taylor, our starter at the 4, were combined 2 for 11 from the field in the first half, and they both attempted a 3, which when we're struggling inside, we prefer that those guys aren't launching 3s out there until they get their inside game going. But and that was part of our struggle. We actually had a lot of good shots in the first half; they just didn't fall. And again, fortunately, we did a nice job, did a good enough job defensively. Jordan Lewis provided us with a couple of big 3s in the second half. He may be our best 3-point shooter right now. Craig Mattson, certainly very capable, and obviously Andrew made 3 of them in the second half. So, you could say that all of our guys that played came in and did a very fine job, and that was pointed out by the balance in our scoring.
Has Jordan Lewis kind of become the designated 3 shooter off the bench, the Steve Alford kind of a guy going back some years?
Well, that's his strength. I mean, and he can shoot with some range. He spent a lot of time in here this summer and this fall. He's always in the gym working on that, and not to say he can't dribble and pass, but his strength is the catch and shoot, and he's working on all phases of his game. Outstanding young man, and that's what we're going to need from him. And Andrew gives us spark off the bench as well. So it's important when you go to your bench, and now the rotation is going to be a little bit different because we're probably going to bring Ricky out fairly early at the 2 because he's the backup to Dwight at the 1. So you may see us go Andrew at the 3 and go Jordan at the 2 a little bit. So we're still trying to fit those pieces together. We have 12 guys that we've been playing in the first half of most games, and we need to probably get that rotation down a little bit. But it's tough because the competition at those positions is fairly equal.
The American Family Insurance High School Tournament is a tournament that you have run, a new sponsor this year, but the same kind of event. Would you talk about that for a minute?
Well, first of all, special thanks to the folks at Bank Midwest for sponsoring our event for so many years as our corporate sponsor. And a special thank you now to American Family Insurance, who's taken over as our corporate sponsor. They're excited about it. We're excited about working with them in cooperation to put on this great event. We've done this since December of 1980, and we've had a lot of great players and teams and coaches and a lot of great fans during that time. And we expect another great event this time. We have the number 1 seeds are Blue Springs South, Liberty North, and Rockhurst. But Lee Summit West, many consider them one of the top 2 or 3 teams on the Missouri side. The Kansas City metro area is in the same bracket with Blue Springs South. But again, you've got to show up and win, and I'm sure everybody's going to, it's one of the interesting things about our event is that schools typically get to play teams they don't normally play. Sure. Yeah. Now, that may change a little bit because we have to have schools within a 100-mile radius now by NCAA rules, but it's still a great opportunity. We try to separate out all the conference schools so they don't face each other at all, if possible, and only on the 3rd day if they do. So, or the final day of the event, rather. So, it's 33 games in 4 days. There are people that come and spend 4 days with us, morning, noon, and night, and it's a lot of fun, and I always look forward to it because I get to see a lot of coaches and friends that I don't normally see except during that time of the year.
That's Larry Holly on Inside the Cardinal Playbook, brought to you by the UPS store at 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City. When we return, it's Jill Kress on Inside the Cardinal Playbook.
She's going to have a great year for us, and she really is, and she's comfortable. She's a really good all-around player.
And what is the worst? last minute Christmas shopping.
Right.
This year,
We start right after Halloween. We still have months. We are in good shape.
lots of time.
Lots of time.
Is that a Christmas tree?
I think so.
In a rush? Come to the UPS store and we'll pack and ship all your gifts.
I love logistics!
My name is Jesse Limeculer, CEO of Belvoir Winery, 110 years in the making. We provide a unique experience in that it's a historic building. It's 110 years old. We allow people to bring in their own caterers to have a nice formal sit-down meal or something that's social and very casual. We let them do basically whatever they want as far as their event goes. We have the fountain running and have the gazebo up for all the wedding days and special days out here. I'm Jesse Limeculer, the CEO of Belvoir Winery.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Cardinal Playbook, brought to you by the UPS Store, 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City. Jill Kress joins us now. Coach, welcome. A big win over Baker. It was a game that I know you're kind of looking forward to. We talked about the old Heart of America connections, but talk to us a little bit about the win over Baker on Friday night.
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you what, I have, again, I said before, I have great memories with the Heart of America and the NEI, and it was fun for Baker, for us to have Baker come in, and they're good. We end up playing well, but he's doing a great job. This is his second year there. He's got those kids playing hard, and just as Susan Decker did before that. The Baker's always been a team that you always had to prepare well for, and but it was fun. It was just kind of a different feeling having them back. There's times that there are parts that I miss of the Heart of America, obviously, and so it was nice to have one of those schools come in and play us.
Well, I had said to several people, and also during the broadcast, that I think we got a chance to evaluate how far we have come, just in skills and levels of play and all that kind of thing, when we go back to play in the Heart of America Conference, taking nothing away from them, but we just have changed.
Yeah, actually, one of the things, just differently for me is maybe Division II is just a little more athletic and stronger. And when we play the Division II schools all the time, you don't see that difference. But when we had the chance to play, Baker, I think our strength was a little bit different. Maybe a little bit athletically in our full court. I think we gave them some problems there as far as being maybe a little bit quicker. But they're a team that's played Rockhurst well. They're a team that they didn't shoot particularly well, I don't think, against us. I don't know if that was because of how we played or maybe them. But there is a difference, and I think not as much just basketball skill. Just think athletically, it's been the biggest change that I've seen.
I know that in the transition from NAIA to Division II, there have been a lot of moments where you kind of question if you're moving forward. There has to be. I think all of our sports have questioned that. Were some of those questions answered on Friday night?
It was, for me, you kind of talked about it, just to see where we've come from. And again, we played well. And when you look at the NAIA Division I actually has more scholarships than NCAA Division II does. And when you get those top 5 teams, it's pretty similar to NCAA Division II. But right now, the Heart of America, they have, I believe they've capped or pretty close, or they may have given 11 scholarships, but I don't think a lot of the schools in the Heart are able to do that. And Baker's one of them. But again, when there's some NAI schools in those top 5 that are, very, very good, and they also have a lot of freedom as far as their rules. With there's a lot of kids that can play at the NAI level that maybe played overseas or professionally that can come in and play at that level at NAI schools, but they can't at NCAA. So there's some differences there. But I thought. When you look at how we played Baker, and I think Baker's going to finish in the upper half of the Heart, it was good for us to see where we've come.
We'll talk about the GLVC here in a moment, but let's talk about the Baker game, starting with Caitlin Wood. She hit a three-pointer at the very beginning of the game, led you in scoring, I believe, with 20, and seemed to shoot the ball very well, especially from the outside. Yeah,
I really think when you look at her whole season, up to the Baker game, she's been playing really well. And again, I talked about it earlier in another show, is that a lot of times when you get a junior college player, I think some people think they need to come in and have the same first year that they ended with their, junior college year. And again, it's a transition. And I think last year, Caitlin had a good year. But I kind of knew in the back of my head, and I told people, I think she's going to have a great year for us, and she really is, and she's comfortable. She's a really good all-around player. She can play inside well. She can obviously shoot outside, and probably her biggest strength is how well she understands the game. And I think she started to get some confidence, and obviously has figured out our program and what we want. And struggled with that a little last year, and she would come in and talk to me. When she was at Des Moines Area Community College, she was looked to do all the scoring, and so when she came in here, she really put a lot of pressure on herself, and that's not the way our program goes, and so she's really bought into that and has done a really nice job, and I just think she's going to keep getting better and better, and I'm excited for her and her final season.
Who else played well for you on Friday against Baker?
I thought, as a team, I thought we played really well all together. Ariel came in, she was 5 for 6. I thought Chelsea Meeks did a great job. Defensively, and offensively, she dished out 8 assists. I thought the kids that came in, Rose Hoff did a nice job. She's someone also that's just going to get better and better. The more she gets used to, our game and the American game, and a little bit stronger. But I thought as a team, Tasia Danner, she had 12 points, I think, in 12 minutes. And, for her, I think sometimes she gets frustrated she doesn't get to play more. And I visited with her on that. I think she's somebody that can do an awful lot for us. And from last year to this year is in so much better condition. But again, and she'll admit it, it's a struggle for her to play at our style that we want to play for an extended amount of time, but she is somebody that can come in and really, and she's tough to guard. And defensively, usually we play zone when she's in there, because she does a great job rebounding, can get the ball out. And a lot of times when we play zone, it doesn't matter, if they have the quicker post players in there. And I thought our team did well playing zone when we had to, but and she was a big factor. We got her to the ball, and she scored pretty easily, and had a great game for us.
GLVC season starts when you return on January 3rd against Indianapolis, and they're rated in the top 25, I believe, in the last poll.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from Indy, but more, what are you expecting from the entire conference this year?
Coach Broughton has been watching Indianapolis, and they're number 4 in the nation right now. They just lost to the number 1 team, and that was their first loss of the season. They are extremely athletic in every position, so it's going to be tough matchups for us. But what I've told my players in any game that we go in is that we go in and we work harder than anybody that we play, and hopefully then in the end you have a chance to win. And obviously they're very good, and the Great Lakes Valley, I think is a really strong conference. It's fun. It's fun to go in and compete and against teams all the time, and you'll see those top teams get upset. I think Indianapolis will have a hard time going through the GLVC undefeated, because there are so many teams that can upset them, and anybody can get upset. And it's I think in the past, maybe not in the GLVC, but there have been some teams that you could kind of look at and think, if we play well, we're going to get a win. And I don't think there's really any team that can do that with each other. I think you just really have to be well prepared, and there's great coaches in the GLVC, and it's fun for me. I love competition, and obviously I'd like to win, but I just think when you have the chance to be in a great competitive game, it's fun for the players, it's fun for the coaches, and it's fun for the fans, and I think we're going to have quite a few of them.
2 weeks off, more or less, between
Yeah.
games. Is that a good thing for you here, going against a team like Indy when you come back, or is that something you'd rather not have?
Well, I guess we'll find out, but I'm a big family person, and I also put things in perspective. You start in basketball, in college basketball, after your first week you move in, you're doing conditioning, you're doing individual workouts, and it's a lot. And I think it's good to have a break in there. 12 days might be a little long. That's kind of, the NCAA requires this year, the 20th to 26th, that the kids have to have off, and that's across the nation. You can't play games, you can't practice, you can't be in the gym, which is good. And it just worked out for our finals. It could have, if we had a later game, maybe would have been kind of helpful, but it doesn't scare me. I give my players workouts to do, and I think this group will do them. But I also think it's good to just kind of step back and get refreshed, I think, for coaches and for players. So, For me, it's not as big of a deal. I think 12 days, these guys are college athletes. They should be able to come back and be ready to go. And you know, we're still going to have 5 or 6 days of practice before we play. And I think that's enough. I think the mental part is more important, really, than the physical part. And I think this is the time for those kids to have a break.
When we come back, it's time for Coach to Coach as Larry Holly rejoins us on Inside the Cardinal Playbook. What kind of Christmas character does Jill remind you of?
Be careful.
With extended hours, let the UPS store pack and ship your gifts.
Poor Boy Oil Company is and always has been locally owned and operated. We promise convenience and service with small town values. We want you to choose Poor Boy again and again, whether you're looking for a hot cup of coffee to help start your day, grabbing lunch at midday, picking up milk at the end of the day, or heading for a Cardinal game any day. We're here to help you get you on your way quickly. Most stores are open 24 hours, so we're here when you need us. Poor Boy Oil Company. Find us around the Northland, wherever the Cardinals fly.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inside the Cardinal Playbook. It's Coach to Coach time with Larry Holly and Jill Kress. Your question today is this, and we'll start with Jill. What Christmas character does Larry Holly remind you of?
Wow. Well, probably it would have been Santa Claus a couple of years ago, but he has lost weight from there, so I think it would have to be like an elf or something. I can't.
An elf in charge of what?
Wow.
Like a toy-making elf or a magical elf, or what do you think?
I could see him being a toy-making elf. I mean, he's kind of a kid at heart. I think I could see him being pretty good, actually, at making toys and toys that kids would enjoy.
What do you think about that?
Well, whatever she says is absolutely truthful. You know, who knows? Are you asking me that same question?
Yeah, I'm going to in a moment, but I was asking you, what did you think about what she said?
Yeah, you think you're an elf, is what he's asking.
Well, I probably am, because I just do lots of stuff and just kind of follow along, do what I'm told, and, you know, I was a pretty good son, and, you know, did what my mom told me to do, and pretty much do what my wife tells me to do, and on occasion, Coach Kress tries to get me to do what she wants me to do, so I'd say I'm probably pretty good.
You know what, though, thinking about it, if he was the elf making the toys, those kids may get it late or as late as possible because he's a really big procrastinator, and he gets things done, but I think everybody would be sweating it out waiting for him to get it done.
But it would be done.
It would be done on time. It would be done on time.
No, it would.
Yeah.
It would.
Coach Holly, what do you think? What kind of Christmas character does Jill remind you
of? Be careful.
Probably Mrs. Claus. She's really good with her kids, you know, and she shops. And I love her wrapping skills. Have you ever seen her wrap
No, I really haven't.
A gift? It's really pretty good. What's that stuff called?
It's aluminum
foil.
Yeah.
She just buys rolls and rolls and rolls of aluminum foil, and then just pretty much crinkles up whatever is inside. You know, it's really pretty impressive. It's silver. It catches your eye, and that's what.
Yeah, it is true. But I will tell you, it makes sense because when you look at all the wrapping paper that people waste and the tape. Aluminum foil, you do not need tape. You can just wrap it and roll it, and then afterwards, if you want to save it, you can use it for cooking and things like that. And so,
have you ever had some leftovers and then not had any aluminum foil in the house?
No, actually, I just used my mom's growing up because I really was challenged. My dad had a retail store, and I have 4 other sisters, and every one of them during Christmas time could go back and wrap gifts, but my dad would never let me, or my mom would never let me because I am challenged in that area. I was allowed to do the checkout.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Well, she uses lots of tape also. When she's not using aluminum foil, she's been over at our house wrapping gifts for her children, and I had to go to the store and buy more Scotch tape. I mean, I've never seen so much Scotch tape on gift wrapping in my life, and it's interesting. You should see it sometime.
Have you guys ever gotten each other Christmas presents that you'd like to tell a story about?
I don't think so.
I got him yes, I did. I got him a Christmas gift of a racquetball racket at one time, and didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I gave it to him, and we were playing racquetball, and I had a nicer racket, and I was beating him at the time, and he asked me how much I spent on that, and it was like $15 racket, and I had a pretty nice one at the time. So he tells everybody for a while he was playing with a $15 racquetball
Pretty much
racket.
the reason she was beating me.
But it was the thought.
I didn't know it. But yeah, it was very nice of her to give me a racket that she could beat me with.
Anything you'd like to say here as we end our show here at the Christmas break?
I would just say, wish everyone associated with Williamsville College and our basketball programs the very happiest of holidays. Merry Christmas to everyone. I know there's challenges in everyone's lives, and it is a special time of the year. We are very grateful to have our players have a chance to spend time with family and friends, and we'll get them back shortly after Christmas to prepare for second semester. But on a serious note, wish everyone a happy holiday season. Tell
my players this, to have a great Christmas, but to really sit back and see all the things around them that they're blessed with. I think sometimes we get so busy, and we get so busy with shopping and things like that, we kind of miss the meaning of Christmas and the family, and telling everybody thank you, and doing some things for people that don't expect it, and not getting the recognition out of that. I think that's one of the most fun things to do, is to do something special for someone and just kind of step back and watch them enjoy it. So it's a fun time of the year for me.
That's Jill Kress and Larry Holly, coach to coach, and we'll have a final word when we come back.
And what is the worst?
Last minute Christmas shopping.
Right.
This year,
We start right after Halloween. We still have months. We are in good shape.
lots of time.
Lots of time.
Is that a Christmas tree?
I think so.
In a rush? Come to the UPS store and we'll pack and ship all your gifts.
I love logistics!
Foreclosure, repossession, garnishment. Costello and Farah can fight for you.
Are creditors threatening to take your property or your money? My office has helped thousands of people in the Kansas City area protect their assets through debt reorganization or bankruptcy protection. Call my office at 816-505-HELP and see if we can help you protect your assets and get you back on your feet.
The attorneys of Costello and Farah, lawyers who will fight for you. Call 816-505-HELP today.
And that's going to do it for Inside the Cardinal Playbook for this week. We'll see you again after Christmas. We take a couple of weeks off, as the teams do as well. They'll come back on January 3rd and take on the University of Indianapolis on Thursday. And then on January 5th at home, it'll be St. Joseph's College. Join us then. We hope you have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you next time on Inside the Cardinal Playbook, brought to you by the UPS Store, 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City.